Okay, hi everyone, it's Nick Holland here. We are at Le Mans at long last, and at the moment it's a beautiful day out, and I am sitting in the KCMG greenhouse in hospitality with Richard Bradley and Matt Howson. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hello everyone.
Okay guys, so we're back. The 47, the lovely 2015 winning car. Is it, first of all, is it the same chassis?
It's the same chassis in 01. It's the same one we used in a wet last year, and it's not turned a wheel since Bahrain.
Okay. Other than test day?
Other than test day, yeah.
And how did that go for you guys?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, the test, it was a rollout. So usually you would do a rollout at another small circuit, but we had to do it here at Le Mans. So it was gearbox check, systems check, all the kind of components that haven't actually moved since Bahrain, and a lot of the stuff has been new. So it was just a rollout, just a shakedown, and of course because we were here with all the other competition, it was quite a competitive shakedown. Yeah. So we were actually really pleased with the result, because it looked to everyone else like we were just getting on with the test program, where in actual fact we were just making sure the car didn't fall apart, for want of a better phrase.
Well, clearly, from my perspective, we do some analysis on the times that we can get hold of, and as a driver squad, you look very consistent across all three drivers, including Tsugi Matsuda.
Tsugi Matsuda.
Thank you.
I had problems
Richard.
the first time, don't worry.
I'll try not to say it again. And I think we counted, in terms of what we do in averages, we counted 50 laps for the car as a whole, which was there with all the other cars. So good pace, good speed. Is there any more? Are you going to start to push it now it's shook down?
Yeah, I mean, now we're getting into the race week, really. So we've got obviously qualifying coming up, and obviously we'll be pushing like hell in that, definitely. And the car is signed off now, so we're free to do what we like. Obviously, we're always going to have an eye on the race in this one, because it's the one race where it's a bit of a strange one, because qualifying means the most, but it means the least. In that, it's quite nice to get pole in Le Mans, but it means absolutely nothing for the race, because it is 24 hours, and it's quite possible, as many people have shown in the past, to come from last and win this race. Yeah. And but no, now we've got the all clear. We're definitely going to be trying. That's for sure.
And unlike LMP1, LMP2, the homologation kind of keeps things very similar. Within, certainly from last year to this year, the car hasn't really changed. Now, of course, more teams have the same chassis, the Orica 05 we have, but the car is not suddenly leapt forward by 3 seconds a lap. But there is some things that we certainly need to look at based on the test day. So we have a program, we have a test program. As Richard said, this is a race. The race is where it all happens here. It's 24 hours of racing. Yeah. So the qualifying is very much just we're mindful. We don't want to be at the back. But it's really a very little priority to us. What we need to do is make sure we have a good race car, and then a lot of it is going to come down to luck and strategy on the race itself. Yeah.
So a good race is fuel and tyres when necessary. Talking with Straka, Gibson is very light on its tyres. They're certainly thinking about forced stinting, certainly when temperatures drop off. And of course, all of this is dependent on weather. How does the Orica do on tyres?
Very, very well. I mean, last year we were able to do 4 stints on the tyres. It's definitely a massive improvement on the Orica 03 that we had in the past. I think that in Le Mans you have to really, all the teams will be aiming to do 4 stints. But as you say, it's very circumstance dependent, based on temperatures, based on weather. So it's nice to have a plan, but looking at the forecast, I think everybody's plans and strategies are going to get torn up in smoke by very soon into the race, because it's just God knows what it's going to do weather-wise or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, three years ago, the Gibson had a huge advantage because of what you've just said. But the development progression in tyres, the chassis, the 05 to the 03 Orica that's come out, the Ligier, they don't have that advantage anymore. It's been more or less negated in most circumstances. Maybe if you have a very high degradation, very hot race, maybe it plays into their hands, but here is not that. It's neither of those things. So to be honest, their sort of strength is no longer a strength anymore. So everyone has the data from what we did last year, so it's kind of no secret that you can easily do 4 stints on these tyres. Yeah.
And just I mean, one other thing in category, there are a few cars running Michelin, but it's predominantly a Dunlop category. With the changing weather conditions, does that present any advantage, disadvantage by tyre supplier?
I think Dunlop have got quite a big advantage because Dunlop have an intermediate tyre and Michelin don't. And the issue with Le Mans is that half the track can be dry and half the track can be wet just because of the sheer size of the place.
Yeah.
So with a Michelin, you're either on slicks, which if it's very cold in the middle of the night is extremely difficult, or you're in wets where it's going to get too hot and be too dry at different parts. And Dunlop have changed the tyres quite significantly since last year as well, and so the wet performance is extremely good now. I've yet to drive it this year, but I think from everything I've heard it's very good. And the intermediate tyre is very similar to how it was in the past, and that was already a very, very good tyre. So I think that, as you say, everyone's predominantly on Dunlops, and I think there's a reason for that.
Okay.
Yeah, the Michelin wet we know is a strong tyre, but if you have an isolated circuit, continuous rain, it's probably the tyre to have. Even though Dunlop have brought a new wet out, we're yet to evaluate it. Dunlop have closed the gap, but it's a 9-mile long circuit, and it's over a large site from one end to the other. So heavy sustained rain is very unlikely, and certainly not for any length of time. So as Richard said, the Dunlop is really the tyre to have. We certainly would feel the Michelin teams are at a bit of a disadvantage in most cases here, but that's as a result of Dunlop's kind of work with more teams and the resources they put into LMP2. So yeah, we're very confident we've got the right tyre manufacturer.
Great. Well, the party I'm travelling with, we arrived in monsoon conditions at about 6 o'clock yesterday, and having decided we couldn't get into the circuit to see drivers in the pit lane, we took a tour of the track. It was quite frightening in a regular car, the amount of water down at Mulsanne and down to Indianapolis. Inundation is probably the key word there. So yeah, we wish you both a good, safe, clean race, and more of the same of last year, hopefully. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.